Welcome to B2B with Randy and Craig, where we speak to local entrepreneurs and learn about their journey. Welcome to B2B with Randy and Craig, where we discuss the rise, the falls,
and the kick in the...
Bro, every single week with this. I'm Randy.
I'm Craig from That's a Wrap Productions.
And we have with us today Al Stanko of Colstan and Associates Insurance. Al, why insurance? Wait, hold on. What happened to you?
You usually say I gotta ask.
Oh, you're right. Okay, sorry. Why insurance?
Insurance it's a necessity in everyone's life, and 27 years ago, I decided to open up my own agency, and that's what we do. We love what we do. Everyone needs auto insurance. Everyone needs business insurance. Everyone needs life insurance. So that's what we do, and very, very good at it.
What were you doing prior to getting into insurance?
I was selling accident and health from another company.
So you were working for somebody selling insurance?
Yes, but not what I do now. I was selling accident insurance for people. So if they got injured, they would get paid X amount of money a day. If they were hospitalized, we'd get more money with that.
Got it.
I was not successful with that.
Really?
No.
So, but you were not successful with that, yet you pursued insurance?
Yes.
Well, that sounds like an interesting story.
Yes, it was.
How did that happen?
Basically, I trying to get in the insurance business. I went to an agency in the Rockville Center. He said to me, great, you could work for me. You write the policies, I'll pay you when the policy expires a year later. So I was like, how can I operate doing a business? I work now and I get paid a year later. So, so I said, it's not going to work for me. So I went to an agency in Port Washington. I built a relationship with them and they took me on. And basically I started selling insurance. I got paid the month after so I can support my family.
Got paid properly.
Yes.
You started understanding the games, I guess. There's a game. Every business has a game, right?
Absolutely.
So you started navigating insurance.
Right, navigating. I learned it the first year. I made $10,000. My wife's ready to kill me. She says, "What are you doing? This is not the industry for you." I said, "Give me 10 years," and before you know it,
here you are.
Here we are.
So that's an interesting. We left out a lot in the middle. Tell me about that leap of faith. You're working for somebody, stability, maybe not the money you want to make, but you're driving towards that. When was that click in your head that said, hey, I think I can do this better than what's being done today?
Well, with my mindset and my ego and my strength, I cannot work for someone. I have to work for myself because I know what the drive was.
I know Al. He's not working for somebody.
No. I have an ego. And I want to succeed. So what I did is I opened up my agency, and I was working with this agency in Port Washington. I was feeding him the business, and he would pay me. And then he goes, hey, you're good at it. Why don't you come and join me? So I joined this agency in Port Washington, working hard and generating money for my family and for the agency. And then 15 years later, I said, I want to go on my own. So December 20th, 2000, I opened up Colstan and Associates. It was I and another employee of mine. And then I grew to 2 people. 3 people, and just kind of built it up and kept succeeding and kept writing insurance. And fast forwarding, and I was looking at my numbers in 2022. Since then to today, I tripled my agency in 2 years.
Wow, that's tremendous. That's tremendous.
What was the hardest part about starting up your own business?
On a commission business, it is not the easiest thing in the world. You got a lot of ups and a lot of downs.
Because you were initially, I just want to understand, you were initially a 1099 for this other company.
Yes.
So that's what he's saying. But at some point, it sounds to me you completely broke away from these guys. I mean, great relationship, it sounds like, but it was time for you to do your own thing.
Right.
So I think that's what you're referring to.
Yeah.
When you got off, when you cut the, cut the cord. Yes, thank you.
And I'm still friends with that agency that gave me the opportunity.
Of course.
Still friends. But the goal is, and when you're in a sales business and a commission business and you strive on that commission, you got to find that level. And you got to find a level. So that's why I worked my butt off for all these days and weeks and months. And still to this day,
you're always working.
I go to work and I bust my rear to make it successful so I can support my family, make sure my employees get paid on a Friday.
Sure.
And growth.
We talk about that with many entrepreneurs in here. So there's people that are meant to be a business owner, and there's people that think they are and they can't do it. That payroll, think about that. I'm thinking as the employee, I just want to get paid. Al starts thinking on Wednesday, oh my, back in the day, I hope I can make payroll this week. Even if I don't get paid,
Right.
I got to make sure my people are paid.
Correct.
That's a heavy burden for an entrepreneur to take on.
100%. If my wife was right here, she's smiling and she witnessed
I got
a lot
this. I
of,
wish your wife was right here.
next time.
right.
Next time. But what I'm trying to say is, when you're in a commission business and you're an owner, it's very difficult. There's days and months that you're like, how am I going to make payroll? It's really hard. But, I strive with that. I made sure that my employees got paid first, and I got paid. In the last 22 years, I never had 1 week saying, hey, I can't
make payroll.
I can't make payroll. Can you do it? I found ways to make it work.
That's wonderful.
And I step back myself to make sure my employees
To make sure
get-
your people are taken care
Yes.
of. What something else, Craig, that we hear a lot about. So you're a great salesperson and passionate about what you do, but that doesn't make you a great business leader. Just because you can sell a product doesn't make you a leader of a business.
Right.
So tell us about that. Tell us about that.
You got to have it in your heart. You got to have it in your heart. You got to have the power, the strength to get up. There's days that are miserable. You don't want to get up and go to work. You have to. On the bad days. And I always train my son is that you're going to have these leaps.
Are your sons in the son? I thought you said
Yes,
sons or sons.
Alex. My son Alex is in the business, and my goal is with him is when you're going down, my job is to make sure it's a soft landing in sales, because there's days that you're doing really good, you're on top of the world, and there's days like, oh my God, what am I doing this for? Because you're getting beat up, and the negativity
Sales is hard.
beats you up. So my goal is to make sure that soft landing. That's what my son and my staff. I always try to make it a soft landing.
So you've been in the business for how many years officially?
30 years.
30 years, right? And as you said, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, right? What was one mistake that had to happen for you to make it to where you are right now?
The mistake is that when my first agency, when I worked in Port Washington, I worked there 15 years. My mistake was I should have went on my own a lot earlier. But
I love that. That is awesome to hear.
because with my ego and my strength, I need to have my own drive to be very successful.
And to this day, as you bring on new clients, add new categories, I know you for a while. Craig knows you. I know over the last, I'm going to say year, could be longer, you've been very focused on tow truck business, for example.
Yes.
And I know that as well as being a full boutique insurance company, you also specialize in different tow trucks. Give us others that you specialize in.
Body shops. Right now, we have one of the largest Chinese food distributor in Queens. We insure them, so we're very diversified. We do write a lot of tow trucks, a lot of body shops,
it.
a lot of tow trucks.
How does someone get a hold of you guys?
They call 631-266-2000, or they can go to our website, colstan.com.
Spell it.
COLSTAN.com.
And you guys insure throughout the tri-state area, throughout the country, just Long Island? Tell me.
We're licensed in about 27 states, and we also have another office in Florida. So we're kind of like going back and forth. I'm leaving tomorrow and going to Florida.
I want Craig and I to come with you.
Right,
Sure.
sure.
We can come. We can come. Hey, before Craig does his shtick, he does his shtick he's about to do. Your office is located right across the street from WBAB, correct?
Correct.
All right, Craig, do your thing now.
So which thing are you talking?
I'm talking about where, if you're listening.
Well, I didn't know that was at that time. But if it is that time, then I want to let everyone at home who's listening to us on WBAB, Spotify, Apple, or iHeartRadio, we are sitting here with Al Stanko with Colstan Insurance Associates. And I have to say, I can say that I've worked, because I get my insurance through Colstan, and
Right.
they got me a lower rate than I was currently paying. So I know that doesn't happen, I'm sure, with everybody, but hey.
Look,
hey,
we moved our business insurance over to Al. You know what it is? It's I used the word before. It's the boutique, right? So a lot of times, there's a lot of great companies out there. A lot of great. For us, it was very easy to deal with Al. He picks up the phone, he comes down, he goes, looks through your policies. I felt that he was very, hands-on. You and your son Alex, very,
Absolutely.
very hands-on. I think that's important today.
We're
It
gonna
is.
meet him
It
soon.
is important.
Yeah.
A lot of customers. We have one guy in Lake Success right now, and my son went to see him. He purchased a building. He goes, I've never had an insurance agent in the last 5 or 10 years come to my office. he said, I like that. I like the concept. So now he wants to come and see us in our building. I'm like, okay. And he's buying up another building. So he's going to ask us to do the insurance for that. So
Awesome.
that's where the relationship building is. It's important. And that's the reason why in the last 2 years we tripled our agency, is because we like that relationship building and customers appreciate that. Another thing I want to bring up, which is very important, we won Bethpage Federal Credit Union's its Agency of the Year
Nice.
award, and Merchants Mutual yesterday just announced our agency as Agent of the Year award. So by that hard work,
That's nice. That's nice to know.
by that hard work, we get rewarded by insurance companies. Say, hey, great job, or in this case, Bethpage.
But Bethpage, it's not Bethpage. That's the public. The public gave you that award.
Correct.
Right, my
That's the Long
customers,
Island.
yes, not Bethpage, but our clients voted for us. We went social media asking, hey, vote for us once a day, and we were nominated. We were nominated. We were picked.
You won.
We
You
won.
Oh, that's
We
it.
won.
Congratulations.
We won.
That's
Yes.
nice. That's the Long Island we're sitting with, you know.
We were not nominated. We won.
No, you were nominated.
Yes.
That comes first. Then
Right.
you won.
Nominated come first,
Right.
and then you
Well,
win.
you do things backwards. Like you sell, then wait a year to get paid. So I understand how you operate.
So, my $1 million question for you today, Randy. Randy.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay.
There's too many bald
How you
people in the
doing?
room. I'm getting confused. What's the weirdest company that you have to insure, that you've had to insure?
The type of business.
Yeah,
you mean.
type
the
of business.
strangest
Yeah,
type
yeah.
of business.
Strangest-
Don't say a company name.
No,
The
I'm not
strangest
saying
kind
that.
of business.
I'm going to make it nice and clear. We got a phone call 2 years ago, and this guy couldn't get insurance. And it happened to be a topless bar, a bar that they couldn't get insurance because the prior owner was not a good guy, did something bad to someone else, and the insurance company paid. So we got a phone call.
Protect the tatas.
Yes.
So did you insure them?
I'm going to make the story really quickly. They came to us at 2:30. They went to 22 other insurance agents. They all couldn't do it. They came to us on Tuesday at 2:30, Friday at 10 o'clock. We had a policy in place with the right coverage, and we saved them because they invested $1.5 million for the grand opening.
And they had
without
no insurance. Oy.
So
Oh, Lord.
Colstan and Associates strives on making sure things get done the proper way, and that's why we are successful in what we do. 22 agents couldn't get it done.
Unbelievable.
My son Alex and I put our heads together, and
it done.
we got it done. And now he's still a customer of ours, and he wants to steal one of my employees to work for him. I said no.
Wait,
No.
wait,
Wait,
dance?
wait,
To dance? To dance?
No, not the dance. No.
We have to come
As a bookkeeper.
What kind of associates you got over there?
Because I wish they'd come take Craig to dance.
Yeah, hey. I got some moves.
No, we keep it clean at Colstan.
I got it.
Mr. Clean, Mr.
That's
Clean.
good.
Both of us. So Al, I have to ask you. You know, you're always out there on Long Island. I mean, in the world, small business, mid-sized business, everybody knows who you are. But networking, how has that been a part of your growth over the years? Because you are a networker.
Yeah, I love networking. I've been to a couple of different networking organizations, and what I do is I strive to make sure I can help other people. Not so much me, but my commission is, for example, if I can introduce party A, meet party B, and help them out, that's what's great. I belong to a networking chapter before, and I actually brought 8 members to be active in that chapter.
Awesome.
And 7 of them are still active in that chapter. So they're successful because of what I did. I didn't get paid for that.
That's karma. It comes to you.
But
the
I-
universe.
Right.
It comes
But that's
to
my ego. I enjoy helping other people out. In that chapter, the 7 there were 8, 1 left. The 7 members that are still active, and it makes me feel good. Even though I'm
Wonderful.
no longer with that organization, but I still feel good inside, and
That's
that's what
great.
gives me that drive and drive.
You know, a couple of years ago, Al and I had met at an event, and we were talking to the side, and we had noticed that a lot of networking was general networking. I'm going to call it. You know, there was a couple that were very pointed at real estate, for example. And if you're in real estate, sometimes you feel like if you're, I don't know, an auto sale, what am I doing here? I'm making a. So Al and I designed at the time a group we were meeting. It was insurance and safety. Am I right?
Yes.
Insurance and
fire safety and insurance.
Fire safety and insurance.
Right.
And we did it. The first week was slow, and then it blew up. You remember, it just blew up, and to this day, that group still meets on Mondays. The topic has changed.
Topic has changed at different locations, but it's successful. Now I still see that 60, 70 people go to that event once a month, and it brings us joy.
It brings us joy that we that was our brainchild, and people are making connections, hopefully turning into opportunities or whatever that may be. But that's the kind of guy Al is. When he says, "I walk into the room, how can I help people?" That's how he walks into the room. Not what am I going to get out of this room.
Right.
It's the wrong way to walk into any networking
And trust
event.
me, I go to a lot of networking events, and a lot of times people take their cards. Oh, here's my card. This is what I do. I'm like, what am I like? What does my forehead say? So I don't like that. It's just that's a turnoff for
But
me.
you want to understand who, how, and what.
Build a relationship first.
course,
Say, hey, how
of
you
course.
doing? And then take it from there.
I got it.
A
I got it.
rapport. You need, and you
Rapport, yeah.
can't build a rapport without a rapport.
That's his last name, by the way.
I know that.
I see.
I know exactly
I
where
wanted
he's
to make
going
sure you
with
weren't
that.
giving a mercy laugh. Then all of a sudden, you
No,
turned
I
into
know
dad
what he
jokes
was
all of a
doing.
sudden.
Yeah.
So Al, here you are. If there's somebody listening to us, hopefully there's somebody listening.
One or
to us,
two.
one or two. But maybe somebody's working in the field of insurance. Maybe somebody is wants to get into insurance. Maybe somebody's working in insurance and says, "I could do this myself." What advice would you give that person?
I'm going to go back to a situation, but a year and a half ago, another person's working another insurance agent, and he was not successful. And I sat down with him. He brought his commission statement. He was wide open with me, and I said, "Hey, why?"
So wait, let me just back up. Somebody's working for somebody else saying,
Right.
"I'm not making money."
Right, not making
Okay,
money.
I'm not
so I
doing
sat down with him, like, why are you not making money? What are you doing? And his commission structure was so poorly written, so that I kind of educated him. And he went back, renegotiated his contract, and now he feels good about himself, and he's actually making money. So that's what it's all about. It's just having that drive. and
So this guy was out there building relationships, building sales, but he was working for a company that didn't give him a program that gave him the opportunity to take part in the success.
Right. Then he went to that agency. He went. They sent him to one of the insurance companies' training courses, and now he's starting to see a life at the end of the tunnel and starting to make money.
Got it.
Now, you said that your son's involved in your business.
Absolutely.
Right? Is your wife involved in the business? Or
No.
she just directs you what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing?
Just
Just
get
hit
in the
hits
whip,
over the
get in the
head.
whip. Yo,
She's
you need to go to
she's
work.
running the show. She's running the
You need to
show.
go to work.
How do you juggle being an entrepreneur and being a family man at the same time?
It's kind of hard because it's like when you go to work and I have my son and I want to make sure he's successful, which in my world, he's very successful. A lot of, back when he was going to college, all his friends goes, "Why are you working for your father, a small little agency? You should be working for corporate America." And I told my son one thing in my business. I said, "This is residual income." And
Right.
he took that. Now, the kid's very successful. He just bought another car. He loves
Awesome.
cars. So his
Well, I also know he's very passionate about what he does, and he's very well educated in the field of insurance. So let's understand, this is not a silver spoon, what Al's talking about. This is a kid that Al put his hands and molded.
Yeah.
And when you speak to Alex, and he's a man, he's not a kid. When you speak to Alex, he gives you the answers. If he doesn't know the answers, he gets the answers.
Right.
He follows up. So it's not silver spoon. So if you're listening,
No.
this is a guy, when I say a guy, Al, who worked his tushy off, to quote
Right.
you, built this brand within himself, built the brand within his organization, then brought his son on and said, no, you're not going to ride my coattails.
You're gonna build it from
You're
the
gonna
ground
right,
up.
You're going to sit here. I'm going to give you a phone, and you're going to work. But I'm here to help. But I'm not handing it to
That's
you.
exactly what I did with him. A lot of people says, Dad is taking care of all his cars that he has. I said, no, I don't pay any for his cars. I showed him how to do it, and I gave him the spoon how to feed himself, and he took that.
But you didn't feed him.
No, I didn't feed him. No, I'm not his sugar daddy.
Right.
So basically, he learned how to feed himself properly, and now he's very successful. Last year, he put $4.5 million of new business on his own.
Bank. That's
Wow.
great.
So
That's awesome.
that's a home run, and because of his achievements, the agency is striving.
And that's an interesting, because Craig asks a lot of our entrepreneur guests about the balance between family and business. Not everybody is in a place where their children can come into business. Maybe their kids are too young. Not everybody has a situation where the kids are even interested in the business.
Correct.
But this comes up a lot. And it is a sticky. It can be sticky,
Very sticky.
but you've navigated it so well. And as a customer of yours, I can tell you that. And I don't deal with you as much as I deal with your son. Absolutely a pleasure. Not that I don't know that dealing with you wouldn't be a pleasure. He's been great. I'm sure it would be a pleasure. I guess.
Just keep digging
Is
a little
he
deeper.
good for you?
Dig
Is he
that,
big-
that
is that
shovel.
good for you?
Yeah.
Get that shovel.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I've every time I've had a question, I've had an answer within like 30 minutes. So
Do you ask hard questions? Does he ask hard questions?
He asked my secretaries and asked me.
You won't even take your call. You won't even take your call.
it doesn't need to get that far.
So Al, let me ask you: if we call your agency, am I getting a live person?
Yes, you have a choice of 3 different departments, and once you click that department,
You get a live person.
You get a live person.
So I'm not stuck in the world of.
yeah.
no,
All
no,
right, so
not
can-
AI.
Not
hate
AI, not answer machines.
Good.
How do our listeners get a hold of you to get a quote on their personal insurance, life insurance, business insurance, tow truck insurance? That's a tough one. How do they do that?
It's very simple. You call 631-266-2800. If you want to reach me personally, I'm extension 104 and Alex extension 102. We'd be more than happy to assist on all your insurance needs.
So I'm assuming the way I would figure out if I'm a good client for you and if you're a good representative for me, we come in or we do it over the phone, a Zoom, whatever it may be. We talk about my goals, what I'm trying to accomplish. You'll look at our policy as it sits. My experience has been you could say, hey, look, you're doing great here. I can't do anything for you.
It happens.
Of course.
In our world, it happens. And you know what? We have no problem telling a customer, hey, you're in a good spot. Why rock the boat?
So before you sat down, I know we're going to run out of time. Kelly, who is responsible for taking all the photos that everybody sees,
The amazing photos.
amazing photos. We were talking about your building, and we said that Al's building, which is on on Sunrise Highway, has a big, gigantic emoji on the front.
Yeah.
And Kelly said that I love taking photos of landmarks. So I said I didn't know that was a landmark. Kelly, you got to take that photo. You could yell. You could come in. You could yell, whatever you want. But you got to take the photo and send it to us so that because it's a landmark now.
It's going to be.
You didn't know it was a landmark until I go take a picture.
Once Kelly takes the picture,
Then
it is
it's a
officially
landmark.
a landmark. So, Colstan and Associates is now an official landmark
of Long Island.
It's unbelievable
On
what goes on
Sunrise
here.
Highway, right across from BAB radio
Can you
station.
imagine what we can do on
Well,
B2B
we can-
with Randy and
we're-
Craig? Unbelievable.
Wait till you see the follow-up episode. We're gonna put that as a signature. And
Maybe we'll
everything.
do the interview in front of the emoji.
Maybe.
And the important thing about that emoji, we had some. I said I wanted something totally different than the regular box sign, so I had a person come to my office and took an emoji shot of my face.
That's you?
That's my face.
You'll have people
With the
come from all
eyebrows?
over the island. It will be an Instagram-worthy spot.
Yeah.
Just saying. You're
Kelly, who has better eyebrows, me or Al? Anyway, all right.
Well, listen, my
save that for
eyebrows
another
are
time.
famous.
We'll save that for another conversation. Al and I will have an eyebrow competition.
In the
That'll be
follow-up.
another time.
Yeah.
Al, first and foremost,
Thank
love having
you.
you on. You're a good friend, great business, taught us a lot today.
Great
Appreciate
insurer.
coming on. Great insurer, and a great dresser.
Yeah. Yeah. And a great barber too.
Oh no, we got to help him with the shaving. I saw he nicked himself. Anyway, it's your birthday.
Yes.
Well, happy birthday!
Happy
Wonderful,
birthday.
wonderful.
Thank you, thank
22
you.
years old.
Right.
My birthday's in 10 days.
It's my son's
Good.
birthday
Happy
too.
birthday in
Happy birthday.
advance.
Thank you.
My son?
Craig, take us away.
Well, from B2B with Randy and Craig, that's a wrap.
Thank you for tuning in to B2B with Randy and Craig. Looking forward to hanging with you next week.